are talking about finding life purpose with astrology. So this is something that I have run previously, and then I want to run something else, and I didn't have enough energy to create something new. So most people voted for this. I'll just come back to it. Most people voted for this because I think life purpose is an interesting topic that everyone's curious about. Everyone's kind of like, oh shit, I want to like reach it this lifetime, but we'll see what it means in a birth chart, and then we'll see how we can view this kind of topic. So I'm YQ. So previously when I was running this, I still had Tarot Singapore Online as my online handle, but I'm not YQ Magic. Most of you already know me on Instagram. I only have like good looking photos from my tarot years. Now I have braces. I had jaw surgery. I don't have any nice looking photos, so you guys have to deal with this. And then yeah, so I'm not doing tarot today. In the future, maybe let me know what kind of topics you want to talk about. So let's start over. Hello, I'm YQ. I've studied astrology since 2018. And for me personally, I really focus a lot on career profiling of astrology when I'm reading for clients. But personally, on my own, I do more like astrology currently for me is more like for fun, and then for more for example, if I'm like picking dates, if I'm not doing anything, I consult the astrology chart a lot versus tarot as well. And then in my follow-up email, I'm going to send you guys a blog post called career readings, should you go for tarot or astrology, because I think that these two have very specific use cases. And yeah, so tell me in the chat, which one are you? Are you number one, A, don't know what my life purpose is? Or B, have an idea what I want to do, but don't know if it's my life purpose? Or C, life purpose feels like an overwhelming aspiration. It's okay if it's like a combination. If it's okay, it's like none of these make sense to you. You can type in a chat. I'm going to read them out to like get to know where everyone is at when it comes to life purpose. I'll just give also to clarify, I have a Aries rising, so I'm just like, everyone type quickly. But okay, so we got A and B, and then we got a C. Yeah, so C is like, oh, so overwhelming. So A and B is kind of like, I don't know what my life purpose is. Or B is like, I have an idea, but I don't know whether it is or not. So yeah, we got Celine there. We got a B. Yep. So yeah. Okay, so I think everyone might be lying down. Okay, all right, we got a B. All right. So I'll jump into the training proper. So what you will be learning today, number one is we got more Bs. What is life purpose and how to identify it in the birth chart? So what is a birth chart? I know a lot of you guys here already know a lot about like astrology, but for those who are coming in fresh, completely don't know anything about astrology, because I do feel that my audience, because most of them do come from tarot, it's kind of, oh, what is astrology? So I'm going to share what it is. The astrology that we practice, it's called Natal Astrology. So it's like you were born, and then it's the astrology of when you were born. So what it uses versus so I personally don't practice Chinese astrology, so I don't know how that works. But in Western astrology, what happens is that we use your birth time exact to the minute. Okay, so if it's like 10 minutes difference, there is quite a big difference. I personally was using a birth chart that was 10 minutes late, and then when I got the correct timing, a lot of things fell into place and made a lot more sense. So if you don't know a birth time, I do believe in Singapore that the birth certificate would have a birth time. Go check it out. Don't just rely on mom, because she might be like, so giving birth is such a painful process that she like kind of doesn't remember it correctly. So get the perfect timing, exact timing, and also a birthday and your birth location to see where the planets are during your time of birth. So for example, the birth chart on the left, it's not a birth chart, it's just a time chart. Was taken when was a snapshot of like, if you zoom out looking at the solar system, if you zoom out where the planets are, and it's kind of like arranged in different ways. So this is a blueprint of your life. It tells you where you put focus on in your life. So for example, in the chart here, you do see a lot more planets in the 4th house, and then 6, 7, and then there are some that are completely empty. So don't worry if there's nothing there. It doesn't mean that you will suck at it. So for example, some people have nothing in the 7th house, which is like the house of partnership. Then they're, oh no, I cannot get a boyfriend. No, it's not. It's just more about like where you put your focus on. And then for today, today's topic, we're going to be talking about life purpose, which is represented by this this little guy called the North Node, and then of course we're going to talk about the twin, the South Node. So, anyone play The Sims? I was playing this for a period, and then when I was creating my sim, I was like, oh shit, this is similar to the birth chart. So when you are creating a sim, basically you can say that, oh, my sim is self-assured Aries, ambitious Capricorn. So basically you are just setting like what your personality of your sim is, and based on this personality and also what they like, right? The sim, when they're doing any activity, so for example, if we have a bookworm sim, if they read books, they will get the knowledge faster, they will rack up the like experience points so much faster, they will enjoy it a lot more, they won't like read halfway and then they will cry. Some sims do that. So basically the sims are the happiest when they are like living their life, living us controlling them, living their life based on whatever traits was prefixed. So it's similar to us as human beings. Some people have like conspiracy theories that basically we are simulations, by something bigger than us, where they are like, okay, I'm creating these characters and then we are just living like a robot life. I'm not one of those, because I know that we all have our ability to change our lives. Even if there's a sim going up there, you should still enjoy your life. So from my point of view, basically how I practice astrology, how I use astrology for myself, is that when you're living your birth chart, living your birth chart is your path for satisfaction and happiness, because I do feel that sometimes in this kind of era, we're growing up with like Asian parents who probably have like expectations. Even society has expectations. Everyone has expectations, and when you are living the expectations of others versus what you're most comfortable with your birth chart, you are quite sad, and you are just like, why am I doing this that isn't like what I really want? So my whole thesis, my whole theory is that living your birth chart is your path for satisfaction and happiness. So what is life purpose? Okay. I went to the Oxford English Dictionary, and I chose two entries from the meaning purpose. I think number 2 was basically very similar to number 1. So number 1, the definition of life purpose is the intention, aim, or function of something, the thing that something is supposed to achieve. So for example, our campaign's main purpose is to raise money. The plan achieve its main purpose, if nothing else. Well, number 3, or number B, it's like meaning that's important and valuable to you. For example, volunteer work gives her a sense of purpose, or he believed he has finally found a purpose in life. So one more time in the chat, let me know let me know personally for you, right? When we think about life purpose, is it more A or is it more B? Is it like, do you see it more as a function I need to achieve? If I don't achieve in this lifetime, I am not fulfilling my purpose. Or number B, it's something that's more important and valuable to you, and life purpose is just achieving that. So let me know in the chat. Of course, you can have a combination of A or B. So we have B's, BBBs. Okay, yeah. So BBB. Now I'm kind of like, which one was the previous? Oh yeah, I'm looking at the timing. So we also got A. So we got a few B's and a few A's. Yep. So both are correct. Of course, they're from the dictionary, But I would say that if you are thinking of meaning A as your life purpose, right, you will be very stressed that you haven't reached what you're supposed to achieve. It's like, the main aim or function of YQ, who was born into this world, my life purpose is this thing. And if I go around thinking that, oh, my life purpose is that thing, and then you kind of like ignore everything else, or even that, oh no, I haven't reached that point yet, I am disappointing myself, I'm disappointing everyone else in the world. So it's a very stressful thing, versus if you're seeing it more as giving meaning or important or valuable to you. So I would like everyone to reframe. I think there was only one A here, but basically reframing the whole meaning of life purpose. Life purpose, instead of thinking it like a video game, our purpose is to beat up the big boss in this video game before we can level up. Think of it more as a open environment kind of RPG game, where you're just like enjoying all the different side quests, doing all the different things. So a reframe is a life purpose, something that's meaningful and valuable to you. But of course, I want to preface this is that because my own North Node is very heavily focused on the self, this is also how I'm carrying this whole seminar, this whole lecture as well. Do note if there are things I say that don't resonate, that you feel that, you know, like I don't believe in that. It's okay. It's perfectly fine. I would love for you to have that instead of YQ says this, I need to follow this, because I do feel that if you're living how other people are dictating life, then it's not living your birth chart as well. Of course, there are some birth charts that are more tendency to be like, following up what other people are saying. But life purpose, think of it as raspberries on your cheesecake and not the actual cheesecake. And I use raspberries because IKEA had a really nice cheesecake with raspberries, but they took it out, and I'm very disappointed. I would love for that cheesecake to come back in. So I believe that everyone who has read the email, you will have figured out what we're talking about today. What indicates life purpose in the birth chart? Today we're focusing on this thing called the North Node, but I would also want to preface this is that life purpose, from my point of view, basically is to live your birth chart according to how it is, to live it so that you are comfortable the way you are. So that for me is life purpose. But if you want to really, really, talk about something, since we're talking about something, it's called the North Node, and then you guys would have used the chart generator to find out where your North Node is, what sign it is. So North Node, I think it's a really good PR campaign for the North Node. It's like it sounds like the North Star, and then people are, oh, North Star is somewhere we follow, somewhere we go to. So the North Node is our karmic destiny. It's the destination we're supposed to head to. The journey will be very, very uncomfortable, but it's required for growth. So some people, when they're practicing astrology, they believe very deeply in karma. I believe I probably reincarnated from somewhere, but I don't believe that the past has such heavy burden on me that I'm carrying it forward. For me, it's like this lifetime I'm dealing with whatever it is this lifetime. But if you are someone who believes, trust, incarnation, karma, that concept, this would be perfect for you, because basically this is something that is very in line with that understanding. So this is a quote from Astrology for Yourself, How to Understand and Interpret Your Own Birth Chart. It's a really nice workbook. It's really big. If you want, you can get it from Book Depository, Amazon. So the North Node is a symbol of spiritual power and integration. It depicts the future and represents how new learning experiences can lead to personal growth. So the whole concept is that you want to go towards your North Node so that you are learning something new in this lifetime, because we're going to cover something that it's not something that you learn because it was very, very easy for you. So for those who haven't done this yet, basically here is a chart generator where there will be a report. You can use it. It's for free. You will find the North Node in the chart that looks like the horseshoe right over here. And then, of course, if you Control F, you can find n.node. It says n.node, it's North Node. So just find it, and then there's a description for you. Read it. Today we are not talking so deeply into the different nodes, but then we are going to be talking about the whole idea of it, because we're going to talk about the twin. So if you're using a different type of chart generator, just look for the horseshoe or look for the headphones. One person told me that, oh, it looks like a headphones where you put your ears in the round place. Yeah, so find the horseshoe. That's your North Node. And this is one of the chart generators. It can show you where North Node is for you to kind of understand what sign it is in. So what is stopping people from reaching their life purpose using the North Node as like a theory? It's the South Node. So the North and South nodes are opposite ends of each other. So in the whole karmic theory, evolution psychology is that the South Node is our karmic past and our comfort zone. I think karmic past feels a lot more negative, but comfort zone, I would say it's the less negative, but still not so nice way of seeing things. So from Astrology for Yourself, as a symbol of the past, the South Node represents a source, innate talent, or ability with which we have been born, and is often expressed itself as an early age. Thus, we can use our South Node skills to enhance our lives and make a contribution to others and to society. Problems arise when we remain fixated in the South Node's realm and avoid the path of future development depicted by North Node sign and house position. So it's something that's very easy, then you kind of lie in there. We'll talk about it more later when we talk about different signs. basically this is a comfort zone where just like you're born with it and it's so easy for you. It's so easy to just stick there and never venture out. But in this lifetime, if you just like never venture out of the comfort zone, you are not actually learning anything. And the whole journey of learning is also kind of like our life purpose as well. So this whole journey is the purpose versus like just one spot. So this is a quote by the Astro Twins. North Node activities require you to stretch out of your comfort zone. Once you do, you'll be amazed by how fulfilled you feel. It's like the activation of your life's mission. The sooner you align yourself with this path, the more purpose-driven your life will become. So let's see. In the chat, whoa, Karen's very fast. In the chat, share what your North Node sign, and if you know what the house is, just type it in the chat as well so that I can see who we have around here. Yeah, so in the chat, yeah. I think you're psychic. It's kind of like, okay, I know what she's gonna talk about. So in the chat, we'll just share so that we can get to know everyone who is here, what our nodes are. So personally for mine is Aries in the first house, and it's like 29 degrees Aries. Bane of my life. Oh, so two people right over there from Teacher Cool. Kevin with North Node Gemini 4th house, while Tiffany has North Node Pisces 5th house. Actually, when I think about it, I keep thinking about the South Node, but yay, so we have Capricorn North Node in the 11th. Awesome. So you might want to screenshot. You don't screenshot this, don't screenshot. You screenshot the rest of the stuff. This is one not so important. So the North Node and South Node are opposite ends of each other. So, okay. So Karen says, YQ speed of speaking is very fast. It's because my Mercury is in Aries. It is the impatient. Let's just go through it. Yeah, I have 80 plus slides, and then I suspect I might just finish it very fast. But when I get excited, I talk fast as well. So I'm living my chart. Sorry, everybody. So basically, they're opposite ends of each other. So if you have something, so for example, we have Ruby with Pisces, then the opposite South Node would be in Virgo. So yeah, so you don't have to memorize this. It's okay. Leaning on the easy South Node means you won't grow to achieve your potential and life purpose. So okay, screenshot time. So or you can wait for the recording and then screenshot there. So everyone who has North Node, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, you can read this. If your North Node is not on the left, right, don't screenshot yet because it will not fit you. Because what happens is that the North Node, actually I should say the South Node signs, right? How it will come up usually is in a more negative fashion. So because each sign, each planet, everything in the birth chart, there is a level, a spectrum of positive and negative. And what happens with the South Node is that usually things are more negative when it's there. So for example, for me, I'm like air my dirty laundry. I have this combination. So my North Node is in Aries. My life direction this lifetime is to build self-reliance and just like, not be so overly dependent on others. And you might think that, why you keep doing all of these things, you don't look like you're overly dependent on others. Sometimes it does happen, and then sometimes what can happen on my end is that there are situations where I'm very comfortable in the North Node, and I learn to be comfortable in the North Node, but there are some situations where I feel compelled to keep doing the South Node not so nice stuff. So for example, overly dependent on others. Other Libra things that can happen basically is that you are hiding yourself so that other people can be happy, and then that can happen to me. So that I hope everyone has taken a screenshot. Part 2, for anyone whose North Node is in Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Yeah. So just screenshot this a bit. I have some case studies which we can talk about later. But these are the screenshots. So let me know if you are done. I will count to 10. So I don't do this too fast. Okay, I counted to 10. Okay, awesome. And then this is the house. So for some, I think most people actually know where the houses are. So you can take a screenshot as well where your North Node is and your South Node is. Yeah, so for mine, it's still on the first house and seventh house axis. You realize that um although I really don't recommend you use the thing called the ABC of astrologies, where people say the first house is Aries equals blah blah blah. Probably I don't recommend that, but this is more simplified, where for example, first house does seem a bit like what the Aries North Node is. So just take a screenshot. I think everyone is done. And then part two, take a screenshot if you're done. Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. So I think we had yeah, so we had Chloe with North Node in the 11th house. 11, yeah. So this in this lifetime, your life direction is more focused on, doing things with the group versus doing things on your own, or even very focusing on like I'm really great. Or sometimes it can be even like focusing so much on your hobbies, like, or enjoying. If you have children, sometimes it can happen. Not say don't be your children. Yeah, so CJ, don't worry. Do you know which did you use a birth chart generator that is like very ugly? I'm sorry, like I was the one who gave it. Uh, did you use this birth chart? This one? If you use this one, right, what you want to do basically is zoom out, and then from the 9 o'clock, from the 9 o'clock area, you start counting house 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Or later, I can also send you to a there's other birth chart generators which also show the houses a lot more easily. Yeah, but don't worry yet if you don't know the house, because actually the first time I taught this, I did not touch the house at all. Um, so Chloe asked a great question. It's like 11th house also means dreams and aspiration. Kind of, so dreams and aspiration and more about the future, having like a broader direction. Yes, so focusing on building that versus like building, because you have to see it in like in a seesaw. So what is the opposite of dreams and aspiration? So I think what is the opposite when it comes to fifth house is probably the focusing more on like what I am generating, what I am creating, because fifth house can be about like the things you create, the creativity side. So if you're too focused on the fifth house side, it's like, oh, these are things I can create now, and then I have control of these now. But leaning more towards like, let's focus on what is out there as well. Yeah. So when you guys are looking at the north node and south node, think of it as a seesaw. And another thing is, if you are okay, we will see a birth chart that let's see. Yeah. We'll talk about a birth chart later. That is kind of like, I scratched my head a bit. So I have a bonus. So this one I didn't teach last time as well. So for anyone who also, this one is I think if your astrology is more like intermediate, you might be able to see this. Is that if you have any planets that are near the nodes, they are also part of life purpose, and then they have very very different ways of appearing. So for example, this is my birth chart. So anyone who wants to know who I am, this is me. So the planets near the south node, which is this thing called Pluto, I think quite a few of us has this Pluto near the south node. What can happen is that Pluto as a planet will play out a lot more negatively. So Pluto is everything has positive and negative. I'm so comfortable. I'm just like, I have my leg up now. um, um, so Pluto, the positive and negative, number one is basically power, control, obsession, or like a transformation. These are all keywords for Pluto. But when it's near the south node, right, it can play out very, very negatively. And then in the birth chart, this is taught by my teacher. So from her point of view is that whatever planets are near the south node, you were born with it. No one taught you how to do that. When you were popped out of your mother's when you popped out your mom, you kind of like knew the way you operate was very that way. So for example, mine is Pluto. So Pluto, when it's negative, it's about power, obsession, control, mind games, but less mind because mine also involves the Mercury side. But so it's a control, and then also because mine is in the seventh house, it's like the fear that other people will control me. I do have some stories from my childhood which I think contribute, but there is really My sister was also born from the same parents, but she didn't have that. So this was something that basically born with. So anyone who does have any planets, put in the chat. I'll talk about it a bit, and I'll talk about my sun as well. So my sun is near the north node, which means that for me, displaying my this I talk too fast. I talk faster than my slides. So these are some of the planets that you will see in your birth chart. If you do know what planets are near the nodes, these are the planets, and of course, how their expression, how their functions are. So for me, for example, my sun is near the north node, which means that for me, displaying my identity is kind of hard. It's like putting myself out. Let me think. I think putting my real self out there is hard. Not that I'm pretending or everything, but when we are doing these kind of things, you kind of have to put on an extroverted person. I'm usually, if it's a sun in Taurus, I would rather lie in bed, but because this is a north node thing, I'm also trying to like putting myself out there. I just okay. But yeah, so these are the keywords, and then we have a very good example from Teacher Ku, whose Chiron is exactly the same as their north node. So let me just scroll past. So interesting. So Chiron. Actually, I have a different talk on Chiron. We can talk about that in the future. But Chiron basically is an asteroid. It's a planetary body that is about like wounding or even healing. So a lot of people in our generation with Chiron in Gemini, where we kind of feel that we don't have enough info, we kind of feel I'm not so smart. But the way for us to actually heal this like not so smartness is also to impart our knowledge, because for Chiron in Gemini, just to put it out there in case there are different Chirons. For Chiron and Gemini, for us to heal other people is to share our knowledge as well. And for someone who has Chiron is already a very, very difficult planetary body to express, because it's about hurt, it's about like wounding and then feeling not enough. So for Kevin over here, right, I don't know if this is your story, I'm just saying it based on this chart. Basically is that because the north node is also something that's not so easy. It's like for him to for him to just be let me just okay, I'll just jump right over here. Is that because his north node is in Gemini, right? North node bringing abstract ideas into reality. Yeah. So for him, the south node is like focusing on the big picture, and then being judgmental, or even just like learning the knowledge, but they're not really practicing it. It's the easy one. But for him, the Chiron is already quite hurt about like, oh, maybe my info not so good. My info, I don't have enough info. And then the North Node is also saying that, hey, you should be putting a lot more of these like information things, turning them into reality, focusing on the facts instead of just like being so judgmental, and then turning ideas instead of just like, oh, this is a very good idea. For Sagittarius, it's like, oh, all ideas are great ideas. But for the Gemini, it's like, ideas, how can we make them into facts? How can we make them into things we can use in our daily life, and then kind of be useful as well? Yeah. Yeah, so Kevin's story is that had difficulty speaking from young all the way till 20 years old. And I do feel like Kevin, right, because I know him personally, I do feel like you kind of like embody your North and South Node very, very well. Yeah. So kudos. Yeah. So basically, this is something we have to learn. So for example, Kevin had difficulty speaking. Gemini is a speaking thing, all the way till 20 years old. It's he has conquered it as well. And so the funny thing with the nodes as well is, right, I'm now saying that everybody move towards your north node, and then everyone's like, okay, yes. And then you do your north node stuff, and then there will be one point where just like, is this it? You have to think about the nodes as a seesaw. So when we were born, the south node was very heavy. So in this lifetime, we are trying to put a bit more weight on the north node so that it goes down, it balances. But because it's very exciting that you are starting to like come down, right? You say, oh, I want to come down more, I want to come down more. So you kind of like put a lot more emphasis on the north node until the south node is like gone out the window. Then you also kind of feel empty. So for us in this lifetime, basically for us is to, number one, go out of your comfort zone to learn something in the north node. And after you do that, be sure to come back and balance both of them. So for example, for anyone, let me just go and see again. We had So we had Karen, who has Leo in the third house. I have to like close my eyes and think about it. So the Leo basically is like, being showy, being like dramatic and expressive, and the third house is also the communication. Um, that is the harder side of things. So I think it's kind of like putting yourself out there and speaking, because speaking is more the third house thing, but Leo is more like, showing off, being like, hey, this is something I created, everyone love me. I don't I don't like Leo people. Yeah, so the south node basically would be in the ninth house, where it's more like, oh, let me learn all this knowledge, take all the books, all these books, and let me learn and learn. And in Aquarius, it could also be like oh, let me learn from like a group, or let me just rely more on the group stuff, oh, if I'm learning, this is a south node story. So if I'm learning with like a group, that's so comfortable, that's so awesome. But maybe in this lifetime, basically, it's like, you already learned so much, why don't you take all the knowledge, turn it into something real, and also put a stamp of, this is Karen's thing, this is how I'm expressing myself, this is how, because Leo basically is like, they love like stamping their names on everything. It's like, this is mine. So for someone who isn't comfortable with the Leo side, it's like, you want me to put something out and have my name on it? That's so uncomfortable. But in this lifetime, basically, is to learn to do that, so that you complete this whole cycle, this whole seesaw of nodes. So we have some, so Karen says, yeah, very comfortable in groups as well. So Elon Musk. Actually, I had Taylor Swift previously for this one, but I was also searching kind of, oh, Elon Musk actually has this. So for Elon Musk, we know he's like one of the richest men in the world. He's like very tech savvy. So I think he does very well with the Aquarius North Node. It's like very innovative, very forward thinking and humanitarian. It's kind of like, yes, he's doing it for money, but not exactly for money. I don't know. Like, I don't know what he's actually thinking, but because he's like, oh, I want to have cars that, run on electricity. I want to have, he is so innovative. That's awesome. But the South Node, the more negative side of South Node basically is like very self-centered, dramatic, and romance focused. I'm not very familiar with Elon Musk, but I know that, he's kind of troll sometimes on Twitter, and then he says like really, really shitty things that, people are like, what the hell? So for example, the kids in Thailand who were trapped in the cave, then he said something like really, really nasty. So it's kind of, oh yeah. Then Celine says that his tweet affects the market as well. It's kind of like, oh, let's see how much power I have, because the Leo is like, I have so much power, everyone loves me. So I think he like oscillates between these two. I'm hoping that I'm hoping that he's able to balance it out, and then instead of being all the self-centered drama and romance, right? Because I think okay, like maybe he's not romance focused, because whenever he dates anyone, we see all the news. But does he have like 11 kids or something? Basically, never mind. We just not my business, not anyone's business. Okay, and then we have another person. This is new. Brittany, who is out of her conservatoryship. Yeah, so that one's shit. But from Brittany's chart, what you can see that she has Capricorn in the South Node with Venus right nearby. So for South Node in Capricorn in the fourth house is about family, about home. And Capricorn is really about like the sense of responsibility. So for her, it's very easy to be like, oh, I want to be responsible towards my family. So that's why, but I guess for her life story is also because her parents have a lot more control over her as well. So it's like the easy thing is here, but for her to really break through is to focus more on like being out in the public, being out, showing other people that she's a caring person, that she's a very heart-based, because Cancer is a very like a heart-based kind of a person. So for her to do that, that'll be awesome. Brittany, I hope you have a great life. And then we have Audrey Hepburn. I'm putting stories of people whom I don't really know. So Audrey, she has a Scorpio South Node in the 8th house. Because she grew up in like World War II, where I think it's very easy if you grow up in wartime, basically, to just be a very suspicious or very manipulative. It'll be the easy thing, like, because I need to save my family, I need to save myself, so let's be that. But for her, I do feel that she has been doing a lot of those humanitarian activities, and in this lifetime, she has actually, focused more on like the material comforts, and then also like how she can use her own resources to help other people. Because if someone who is very focused on the eighth house, they will be like, oh, let me use other people's things to make things happen. Yeah. So for her, that's Audrey. Also Bruce Lee. Mm, I was thinking, like, I was racking my head like which celebrities to use. Next time, let me know who you want to see. So Bruce Lee is funny lah. So because I think when he was a kid he likes to fight, and then so Aries South Node will be like impatient, bad tempered, and rash in the family or place of origin. For him in this lifetime to be more diplomatic, fair in career or in the public space. But of course, because he died quite young, sometimes it can be also that they haven't really fulfilled their whole birth chart. I do kind of see that at least he has moved away from fighting like in gangs, in little gangs, and then focusing more on like being out there as well. So that is an example. Wait a minute, you'll be like, why you? I came here to ask about life purpose, and you said like the life purpose sounds more like the life than the careers. Because I think the sites, because last time I actually advertised this as life purpose and career direction, but I think it makes sense. So the life purpose that we're talking about, Audrey Hepburn being like humanitarian, and then Brit being more like less focusing on the family and focusing more on like the career side as well. You're like, that's not a career thing, but yeah. No points to life purpose. And then if you have a career, I'll still share it lah, so you don't go home and say yo. But anyway, so when it comes to career, I think we also had this question that was like pre-sent over. Basically, the 10th house is the career side of things, and then what we look at is I think, let's come back again. Life purpose is about your life, okay? It's not about your career, because sometimes we can, I think there's like popular culture out there. Oh, if you what was it? If you do something you love, you won't have to work any day of your life. So yeah, I guess if you do something you love, it's not, you don't really see as a career. I don't know if I'm phrasing that right, but basically, life purpose is your life. Your life is not just about career. You didn't, if you die and then the eulogy, people say she always worked OT until 8 p.m. and then she always hands in the best reports without any mistakes. You don't want to say that, right? You want to say something more exciting. Maybe I put out my own things out there, people like what I'm putting out there, and all the Leo stuff, or even like the Gemini stuff is like, oh, I gather all this information, I turn them into things that people can use, and then people are enjoying, because Gemini is also very enjoying, like enjoyment of like fun activities. Okay, but if you do want to look at a more career side, what would you look at is the 10th house, and then this dark thing is called the midheaven. For some people, most of us actually had some charts, but I think most of the charts that I have oh yeah, so for example, Audrey Hepburn, her chart isn't exactly a T, a cross, a cross, because hers leans a bit here. So you just want to take note where the midheaven is. So if I'm doing career profiling, if I'm talking about career, which is not life purpose, okay? Career, not life purpose, career, not life purpose. I will look at who rules this 10 house thing. So for her, the ruler of her career house is the moon. So for example, for her, when it comes to career, right, I know she didn't get a lot of say in what she had been doing, but for her, I do feel that in this lifetime, if she's able to be involved in more humanitarian things, because the moon in Aquarius is very focused on, the people, but the fifth house is all focused on like children, self-expression, even hobbies. So perhaps she does something humanitarian that involves helping people express themselves. It can be something like that, but I just hope she has a fun life nowadays lah. So for Audrey Hepburn, this is her 10th house, and the ruler is like, the king of the 10th house is Jupiter. I'm like, where is Jupiter? Down here, it's in Taurus as well. So for her career, funnily enough, is like being generous in a material way, using her own money or values, or even teaching, or even just being generous, which is, it's kind of funny, like if you tell someone your career will be to be generous, and but I think she has made quite good out of it. And then if I'm also talking about career, I will look at what planets are in the 10th house. So for example, Audrey has Saturn in the 10th house, working hard in areas related to career, being strict on themselves when it comes to career, or even classic. So, she is like a classic symbol. And then Bruce Lee, his Virgo midheaven, Virgo 10th house, a public image of like a meticulous perfectionist and very, very helpful. So I did not put, where is my Mercury? Yeah. But also perhaps even when dealing with in groups and people, he is a lot more like secretive knowledge. So I don't know, like is teaching Kung Fu secretive? I don't know. Yeah. I haven't. And then for him, he has his North Node here, which is part of his life purpose is involved in his career. So if you have a North Node in the 10th house, in the top second house and sixth house, then I would say your life purpose does involve your career or things that you're working. But if you don't, then life purpose is more about your life. Okay. And then he has Neptune over there. Well, being famous is part of a Neptune thing. And then projecting like an ideal image, or sometimes the not so good side is being lost in the career. So to recap everything, life purpose is not necessarily linked to career. So life purpose is not necessarily linked to career. Repeat after me. So if you're able to blend life purpose into your daily life, right, then you're able to live your birth chart, because you are not your career, you're not your career, your life purpose is not a career. I don't know, I should make this a chant and then everyone can just like play it again. For me, my whole theory, my whole thesis, and it's also because of my birth chart, is like if you're able to live your birth chart, you'll be able to live your path for satisfaction and happiness. And it's very different from everyone else's paths. Even for twins, there can be slight differences. Your birth chart is special, it's you, so live that one. Of course, there's a living it negatively and living it positively, hopefully. I think for me, my whole theory is that sometimes we can be living based on what others people want us. So number one is basically breaking free from that. And then when you kind of like understand yourself more, how to live your life according to your birth chart more, you can fall into situations where you are more like, living out negative ways. Then we fix that. So for me, it's basically number one, stop living what other people are telling you to live your own birth chart. So that is me. Is everything I'm going to be saying. Like anytime you come to me, I'll be saying this: live your birth chart, not anyone else's. So to recap, today we talked about how to identify life purpose in the birth chart, which is the North Node, and then your comfort zone, your South Node, and then when it comes to career indicator, we do talk about the Midheaven and the 10th house. But as you can see here, it is not related. So life purpose isn't necessarily linked to career unless you do have it. So I think Kevin has South Node in in the 10th house. Maybe the not so comfortable thing is more in the career side. Okay. But so you're here today because you want to figure out your life purpose, and then you have big dreams, but if you're not sure if you're on the right track. So in the beginning, we're kind of like, we had option B, which was like, I am doing something, but I'm not very sure, if it's a right track or not. And then of course, you're here because you feel overwhelmed by the concept of life purpose. So whoever chose C, and then astrology can help. We have a lot of people who actually learn astrology as well in the chat. So but that's different lah. I mean that because they learn it, then they can help themselves as well. So if you haven't really learned astrology, right, it's time for you to figure out your uniqueness, your strengths and weaknesses, because we're not just talking about you're so awesome, because we also want to talk about which part you might be lacking, so that you know whether you need to find other people to help you with it, or whether you need to just learn to overcome it. And then I think sometimes the weakness, right, it's not that I need to fix it so that it can become better. Sometimes it's also accepting this is my weakness. What can I do? Number one, maybe to find other people who is able to help me compensate that one. So for example, what can happen is that for people with weakness in the birth chart, they actually find a life partner who can compensate. Or if you're doing business, if you're running your own thing, you find a business partner who is able to help you fix that. So it's like weakness doesn't mean it's bad. Weakness just means something you need to fix. It's all data points where we see, okay, this is what I'm seeing. Let's see how we can fix it. Versus like, this is my weakness, I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna be sad all the time. No. And then of course you want to figure out your life purpose, your comfort zone, your career, and your work life. So Stop second guessing yourself. Stop thinking, is this me? Is this not me? Because I'm going to be pitching career profiling with astrology consultation. So I do have a wait list at mymodernastrology.com. If you have your phone, you just secretly look at it. I'm fine. Mymodernastrology.com. It is so because you guys are here, because you guys sign up for this, I'm offering a 1 hour consultation. In the past, what I usually do is 45 minutes with people to talk about career profiling with astrology. So I think look at this, all this info here. Life purpose is only just one tiny bit when it comes to our career profiling. So bonus 15 minutes for being part of this training. The bonus expires 30th Jan noon, because I don't want like 2 years down the road, hey, someone raise hand and say I was in the training. But here's what we cover in the career profiling. We cover 3 big parts. It's who you are. Number 2 is who you serve. Number 3 is what to do. So I'm also crediting where I got this framework from. So I got this framework from my teacher, Mason. She was doing career profiling, and her point of view basically is that we shouldn't be working for companies, but then she slightly kind of adjusted her point of view. Like, for her, what she's saying basically is that you want to create something that is your own, so that because jobs are like falling, and then you want to like do things that you have control over. So number 2 is actually what we talk about. And if you want to be an influencer, anyone with Leo placements, whether it's good or bad, number 2 is also quite important, because I'll just talk about number 1 first, because I jumped to number 2 first. In the career profiling, we talk about who you are to understand what types of jobs you want to look for. I had a client who was like, basically, she cannot do things that is like what someone else tells her to do. She cannot do that at all. So I would not tell her to join a company where she only has to follow directions all the time. And yeah, she totally agrees to that, because that is not in her DNA, in her birth chart. So that is something that we will be covering: the dominant personality, elemental balance. If you are Chinese, you know that in Chinese there's like 水火金木土, and then in Western astrology as well. So earth, air, wind. Is it wind or air? Earth, air, water, and fire. I was gonna say pentacles because I do tarot. And then modality basically is whether you are someone who starts things, or whether you're someone who like basically follows things all the time, or you're someone who needs excitement all the time. And then part 2, influencers. People want to be famous. Or people who actually, so for example, if you have a side hustle, you have a tarot side hustle, you have astrology side hustle, number 2 is important because you want clients to come to you. And then we talk about your natural audience, people who love you, but we also talk about your value indicator, because people who love you don't pay you money all the time. If you think about Britney Spears, she has 2 million followers. Do all of them pay for her tickets? No, only some do. So the some do will be your value indicator, that people will pay you money. But you also want to know who loves you, so that you can be putting out content out there to like I was gonna do like a net, like fishing net thing to pull people in. And then natural collaborators, because if you are doing something on your own, you want to work with people to leverage on their strengths, to leverage on their audience, not just do everything on your own, because it's lonely, and then you won't grow as fast. I know that because I do that. Number 3 basically is what to do. What are you doing? Your life mission, which is what we cover today. So like 9, we only cover 1, and then of course you talk about your career and your natural work as well. And you realize actually this whole thing is your career profiling. I don't just talk about your career, because it's not enough if I tell you. And then of course, right, to be frank, I cannot say that your birth chart looks like Elon Musk, you should be a freaking rich inventor whose daddy has a lot of money. No, because it doesn't work that way. So we'll be talking more in terms of like your skills, the actions that you take. So for example, I blank out all of this. I usually what we cover, I usually speak more than I read from these things. This is more for people who kind of like want a written version. Yeah. So if you're interested, my modernastrology.com would be where wait oh yeah okay, yeah. So client feedback. So yeah, so people liked it, people loved it, and then we'll highly recommend to friends. I'm very pricey to say things. Yeah. So this is a very sweet lady. She wrote 90 pages of notes sitting down figuring the puzzles. And then we had light bulb moments. If you want light bulb moments, yeah. And then of course it's very encouraging for you to like know sometimes I think it's very encouraging when you realize that the things you have been doing do fit into whatever was in your career profile, because sometimes you can feel that I'm doing all of this, no one agrees with it. Everyone says, why are you doing this? It's so dumb. And when you see the birth chart saying, hi, this is me in your birth chart, that's actually what you're doing, it is very comforting. And you are living your life purpose. You are living your life purpose, which is my whole theory. So, who is this for? Who is this not for? Very important. It's for you if you're resourceful and willing to take action based on a consultation, and you're also open to paths that you're not considered before. This is more for young people. I've been working with a few older people. They kind of like, they don't have this problem where they haven't tried. It's not for you if you are younger than 31 years old. So this is something I said because I do feel that after 31 years old, after a Saturn return, you are more an adult. And then it's much easier to work with the chart that way as well. So I'm also not able to talk to you what your ideal career is. I can tell you. So for example, I had a client who's like, she wants to go into F&B. I look at the chart. I said, you're not the one doing the cooking, right? And then she said, yeah. So I can see in the chart whether it's suitable or not. It's like there are things I can see where, oh, you're not cooking, because in the chart there's nothing that relates to cooking. So I say it out loud for her, in case she wants to cook louder. So turns out no, she wants to like transform how food is being presented so that she can sell it better. She has very strong Taurus. And then of course, you want a timeline of what will happen in next year. This is more prediction. In the chat, go find Teacher Cool. He does timeline. I'm selling. Teacher Cool, show your Instagram. So if you want a timeline, you can go to Teacher Cool, but tell him that you came from here. So he does the timeline. And number 4 is do not come to me if you don't want to take action. Okay. I am so frustrated if people don't want to take action. If you just want to, listen to it as it's a fun thing, to listen to, it's fine. But don't tell me. Don't tell me. Oh, I'm just here to listen and I won't do anything about it. I'm like, waste my time, everybody. Yeah. So so a recap is that in the 1 hour session, because the bonus 15 minutes is we talk about who you are, your strengths, your weakness, your work temperament, your natural audience, value indicator, natural collaborator, your life purpose, your career, and your daily work. So this is everything we cover in 1 hour. And yeah, so mymodernastrology.com, additional 15 minutes bonus expires on 30th January noon. And then so this is what's gonna happen when you do this, go to this link. It will take a lot of time before it actually loads, because I'm redirecting everywhere. You will actually land in the Stripe payment page, not at my calendar. So if you do have my career profiling link, right, it doesn't have the 1 hour session, because this is special for you guys. Also, I would rather, if you go to my website, the link is there to like book my time, but I would rather you have some time to think things through what you want to ask, because if I make you go there and book a timing, it might not suit you, the timing, or it might be like, you haven't really thought about what you want to ask as well. So you can go to this Stripe page. It's powered by Stripe, it's not by me. And then later I'll get in touch with you to understand your career concerns and schedule a session as well. And we have some people from the USA, so I don't want you to I know you guys are really early today, but if you're doing any consultation, basically it's not in the middle of the night, or it's probably in the middle of the night for me. We'll see, we'll figure it out. Anyway, okay, so Q&As. If any questions, let me know. I will talk about no personal charts. We'll see. I will answer some of the pre-submitted questions as we go along. So does our life purpose change or evolve as we change and grow? So I think Kevin plays I think Teacher Cool over there. I think your evolution is something that is like worth learning from. So basically is that you learn to be the North Node you, and then after you have learned it, right, basically it's not like you stop learning to talk to other people. Maybe you learn other skills, maybe you learn other ways to talk to other people. So basically, from this session's point of view, basically is that you first have to step out of the comfort zone. So that's number one, step one. the change basically is to stop being in the comfort zone. Number two is to learn what the comfort zone, not what the uncomfortable zone is about, and then learn from there. And then after you learn from there, also learning to balance. So I see maybe it's less about changing and growing, but more about I've said like a Tai Chi thing. Like it's like, oh, it's a very round circular thing or a seesaw thing. Yeah. And then what's the best career for me? How can I live a fulfilling and happy life? I think number one. Why do you feel unfulfilled now? Is it because you're living a life that other people are telling you to do? Or is it because you're living a life that is too idealistic? Talking to Pisces placements, 12th house placements, Neptune placements. What is fulfilling for you? We will find out in the career profiling basically because that is where we see who you are. Strip off of what other people expect from you. Strip off your accountancy, MBA, PhD in neuro-linguistics. I don't know. So stripping everything that is like what other people has put on you. What makes you happy? What is it that is unique to you that you need to pursue? So that is my the soapbox that I will stand on and shout about all the time. And then also, what's my purpose and how can you know that you're on the path? I think if you know you're on the path, you wouldn't need to come here. So how do I say it? So for example, Elon Musk, right? You can't tell him, hey dude, is this, is the green cars the right way? He's like, no, I'm still gonna do it. So I think life life purpose, we talked about it, but how do you know whether you're on? I think it's the knowing that this is something you want, this is something not other people say, something that you really, really truly believe in. And then for you to really, really truly believe in something, I think you need to understand who you are in the first place and not what other people want from you, what other people need from you, and then you're playing that role for them. So that is me shouting about. And then of course we also talked about, the midheaven, north node, and then is your life purpose linked to the sun and the house? I think I personally, in the career profiling, we do not talk about the sun at all because the birth chart, right, has 12 houses. Only about 3 relates to making money, the work, and the career. And if your sun is not there, then the sun is more about how you are comfortable yourself. Yeah. I feel I'm contradicting myself, but because how your being is comfortable, and as a Taurus, if I am lying on the bed, I am fulfilling my Sun Taurus life purpose of lying in bed. But the rest of my chart wants to happen. The rest of my chart don't want to lie in bed, even though my body and myself wants to lie in bed. But no, the rest of my chart says no. So I don't know. I'm laughing at my own jokes. But yeah. So yeah. Ta-da! Yeah. So mymodernAstrology.com. Anyone has any questions, let me know. Yeah, let me know. I will pause here. I will take a sip of water and let me know any questions. Yeah, I think a moon Taurus will also understand the life purpose of lying in bed. It must be comfortable bed lah. Yes. Oh, I love Taurus placements. I'm finding it hard to embody my Taurus placement because it's the only Taurus placement in my whole chart as well. So let me know if there's any other questions. If not, right, this recording will be available. So if there's anything you missed out, it will be available for the next 3 days. Take all the screenshots you want, blah blah blah. And then of course mymodernAstrology.com if you are thinking about it. Yeah, so moon and Taurus, lying good bed and good food, good life. But of course, the rest of your birth chart says, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that. And so the thing is that the birth chart is there's so many things asking for your attention in the birth chart, and then you cannot, speaking as a Taurus, it's like, if you just like feed, there's an analogy that I quite like. Someone was saying that imagine your birth chart as a table of family members, eating, and then you cannot just feed, I love my grandson, like a boy, eat all this good food. Let the rest, everyone's like, oh my god, so hungry. So, for example, you cannot keep feeding only your north node or keep feeding only your sun. So, and the rest, everyone else is, oh, I'm so hungry. So you have to feed your whole birth chart, and yeah, so that is also what we talk about when it comes to career profiling. So I also want to, yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. So Karen also has Sun, Mars, Venus in the 10th, so very, very busy. So her moon wouldn't be like, hey, come lie in bed all the time. um yeah, so this is what I am. Okay. Frankly as well, for me, it's like I love doing career profiling. I'm not so comfortable doing other types of profiling. I have run a session called separate from this. It's called This Is Why You're Single, where I talked about relationship blocks based on Venus. That was fun. But I have no actual input when it comes to relationship stuff. I mean, I can do it lah, but it wouldn't be helpful for you, I feel. Yep. So as I mentioned just now, if you want timing things, teacher crew is the one to go to, because I don't do that. But yeah, so I think I think that is all for today, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I am so happy that you guys are here. And of course, let me know what other things you'd like me to talk about when it comes to astrology. I have two things that are already in my pocket. I can talk about Chiron, which we talked about a bit when we're talking about Teacher Cool's chart. It's the part where you feel that you are lacking. It's the part where you feel that you're not enough. But also, if you use it, it'll be helpful in your healing journey as well. And then you can also use it as a career thing as well. And then I think the last thing, oh yeah, another career thing that I covered was more about the work temperament, whether what type of like work pacing you are suitable for. So those are the two other things I have. I'll probably run that. Yay, Lisa knew. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so thank you everyone for being here. I am very, very glad. I'm very, very thankful, and enjoy. I was gonna say enjoy the new moon coming up next week, which is also the Lunar New Year. Thank you, everybody. I will say bye bye. I will put up the video. I will send all the emails, and I will see you in future chats, webinars. All right. Bye bye. I will end it lah so that people don't feel awkward. Ciao.